Now, I have clients who don't recover from their porn addiction. That's the reality. That's the truth. 6 years of recovery mentoring and a few hundred clients in, I've seen a lot of men in their mid to late 20s who choose to keep on watching pornography, and then they go ahead and enter their 30s and they totally fuck their lives up. While as a professional, my clients do have the highest recovery rate from porn addiction out of all the options that I'm aware of out there, I still stay up late trying to figure out why some of my clients don't recover. Now, not everyone can be saved, but this still frustrates me a lot. Not to sound all zen and deep today, but during my morning meditation, I think on Thursday last week, I figured out a few reasons why this might be, okay? It also means that my morning meditation sucks because you're not supposed to think during meditation. Now, don't get me wrong. This process actually took about 5 years, but that day was the day that I experienced some sort of revelation with regards to it. So the first thing to understand is that your brain does not want to change. So the older you get, the tougher it actually is to recover. And if you're over the age of 26, your brain has made enough sense of life and of society that it doesn't really need to change that much. So you've created these mental models for most things in life, and then complacency sets in. So the human brain naturally resists rewiring of any sort, and it actually prefers comfort and familiarity. And this process is known as homeostasis. This is one reason why recovery from porn addiction is not as easy as, staying away from porn for 90 days or from masturbation for 90 days. There are many things that our brain doesn't want to change, not just watching porn and masturbating to it. I've broken them down into 3 things, which I actually call the 3 enemies of recovery. And these 3 reasons are why you will resist recovery every time you try to quit pornography. The first enemy is confirmation bias. Now, confirmation bias is the way your brain goes through information and discards anything which doesn't fit into the way you see the world. So remember, the brain resists change. So confirmation bias keeps us comfortable, and it actually prevents us from rewiring our brain's neural pathways. So you can easily see confirmation bias demonstrated online when different people have polar opposite reactions to a video or an article. Another example is religion or any sort of ideology. Your ideology actually comes from 2 things, your beliefs and your emotions. So your beliefs are formed from a neural pathway in your brain being used over and over again for years. Your emotions are neurochemical reactions. So when you combine these 2, you get an ideology. Things like religious conviction, like political beliefs, things like radical feminism, socialism, apparently radical veganism is a thing, and other things like that. So the problem is that confirmation bias makes it difficult to analyze anything which is different from your beliefs or emotions. And this is why many men cannot accept the fact that they are porn addicts. Your idea of an addict is not actually linked to pornography. So your beliefs about quitting porn actually hold you back. Here's an example that you can probably relate to. So when you're experiencing a streak of not watching porn or masturbating, you begin to believe and kind of tell yourself that I've got this under control. Then you start getting sloppy with the things that kept you off porn in the first place. And next thing you know, you're relapsing to something like a very light sex scene in a movie, or the cover of an album on Spotify, or whatever, Netflix. And then this happens over and over again, but you never change. You never change, and you keep thinking that you have it under control because you haven't changed your belief to something more realistic, something more along the lines of, I don't have this under control until my brain rewires itself, and it takes more than just a few months to actually recover from a porn addiction. The second enemy is technology. Many men, especially millennial men, use technology completely irresponsibly, and there's actually a price that you pay for that behavior. The cost is actually damage to your ability to synthesize information and to think independently. My research into my clients revealed a few things. The first is that the more you watch TV, the less likely you are to recover from your porn addiction. Men who watch TV, Netflix, and YouTube as entertainment for more than 10 hours a week have a high relapse rate. And this is just my study from my clients and those enrolled in my course. Now, men who are more likely to relapse consume information via technology without any discipline. They look up anything they don't know on their phones before thinking about it for themselves. And they would rather watch a video than read a book about recovery, which I guess is good for me because they find me on YouTube. But the majority of modern humans cannot deal with boredom or lack of satisfaction in their lives simply because every time they feel bored, they tune into TV or social media or pornography. And we've not trained ourselves to actually sit and think in silence. As a result, many men cannot sit still and evaluate their emotional state, which is a necessary step in recovery. They don't think enough, and as a result, they're not only prone to relapse, but you're also prone to being unfulfilled and unsuccessful. In our current world, success is not determined by how much manual labor you can do or actually how hard you can grind or hustle. It's actually predicted by your ability to think and be creative because we live in an information world. Enemy number 3 is lazy thinking and lazy beliefs. And what I mean by lazy beliefs are basically beliefs which you formed to make your life easier for you, to make you feel better when you don't achieve your goal. Now, lazy beliefs or easy thinking kind of makes you soft and fragile because it often puts the responsibility of your situation on someone else. Here are a few examples. Now, when you say something along the lines of, this is going to be different because blah, 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 different situation is going to happen. This is the belief that something positive will happen in the future that's going to change your life without you putting in any effort. So sometimes some guys who struggle with porn might say, with porn and masturbation, might say something like, I'll stop watching porn and masturbating when I finally have sex, or when I get a girlfriend, or when I get married to the right woman. Or I'll become more attractive or stop being so stressed out when I get a good job, or when I become very successful, 5 years from now or 4 years from now. Some men also say things like, I won't slip or relapse this time because I just got a therapist, or I got a recovery coach, or I joined a 12-step group. Another example of this is, I'm going to be good because of this special event that's going to happen. And this happens when you actually believe that you're exempt from something happening to you because you're somehow special. Also, one of my favorites, because I get a lot of emails on this, so somebody might email me and say, I've watched like 70 or 80 videos on YouTube about not fapping. I'm a level 5 black belt with 500 days of sobriety, so I'm going to recover. I know a lot about this. The reality is that you can remain in the early stages of recovery from porn addiction with no relapses for months and even for years without a relapse, and then relapse 2 years later because you still haven't rewired your brain or dealt with the underlying issues that made you addicted to pornography in the first place. So the ugly truth is that many men who claim to have recovered from porn addiction have not. They simply regressed to a stage of their addiction where they can actually go for months without watching porn or masturbating, but they eventually slip and binge for a few days, then they get back on the horse. And this pattern likely continues throughout their lives. Some guys go on a 1 month of not fapping, get a girlfriend, and then they're good for 9 months. But once they break up, they're back to their habits. Some people say, I'm a strong Christian or strong religious person, and my faith is going to pull me through. The reality is that God helps those who help themselves. Faith is an amazing thing to have in your arsenal against addiction. But faith without a realistic goal, faith without doing the necessary recovery work, heck, even faith without a filter installed on your device is not going to work. I've followed the lives of dozens of my clients over the years, and if you don't fix your porn addiction and any other unhealthy behaviors that you have in your 20s, it only gets tougher as you get older. And it's really heartbreaking to speak to men in their 40s who literally watched all their dreams slip away because of the effects of pornography on their lives. Lack of focus, complacency with their career, lack of friends, no encouraging network, never reaching any form of financial independence, never being in a fulfilling long-term relationship, or choosing porn over the one relationship that was actually working out for them in their life. I hear excuses like, I can't wake up early because I need at least 9 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep to function. And the reality in this situation is that sleep is important. Sleep as much as you need to. But if you're consistently going to bed at 2 a.m. because you're up watching YouTube videos, catching up on TV series, edging to porn, or juggling 5 dead-end conversations on Tinder, then you're only fooling yourself. Try going to bed at 9:30 p.m. If you can, and see how many hours that you need. And some of you will literally solve 90% of your problems by being in bed by 9:30, 10 p.m. every single night. Another excuse is, I would be more successful, I would have more money if not for blah, 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 somebody else, or you name some scapegoat that keeps you down. So the question to ask yourself is, who is the scapegoat in your life? Is it your parents? Is it your wife or your girlfriend? Is it Trump? Is it the porn industry? Take 100% responsibility for your life. Here's what I mean by 100% responsibility. So if my car gets rear-ended while I'm rushing to an important meeting and I'm late as a result, it's my responsibility, not the idiot who was behind me, texting and driving. If I wasn't rushing and if I had left 30 minutes earlier, I would not be the victim in that accident. If I'm at a bar with friends and some drunk person picks a fight with me and then knocks me the fuck out, it's 100% my responsibility, because I could have not reacted in a way that resulted in a fight. I could not have been as easy to knock the fuck out, like taking my martial arts training more seriously, and I could not have been drinking in a bar. And since we're on this topic of taking responsibility, I'm going to talk about one more thing that comes up quite a bit. If you're in a relationship and your girl cheats on you, it's also 100% your responsibility, because number one, there were probably warning signs that she was not long-term material, but you ignored them because she was the one, or you just didn't know about warning signs. Or you got comfortable in your relationship, you didn't give her what she needed, so another guy swooped in and took your girl. Or your relationship game wasn't that great, or you weren't experienced enough, and some other guy who was better suited to her got in a relationship with her or seduced her, in which case she wasn't long-term material in the first place for you, most likely not the right woman for you. The point is, take full responsibility for your life, and trust me, you'll be a much happier man for doing that. So there you have it. I rambled a little bit, but these are the 3 enemies of recovery, and it's my hope that kind of bringing these to your awareness will prevent you from falling into this trap. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with 3 other men. You never know who it's going to help. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel. I release videos twice a week, every week. And if you're in a situation where you're struggling with your porn addiction and you need to talk to someone, visit elevatedrecovery.org/apply to get on a free call with me. Have a great day.